Imagine you attended a town hall hoping for dialogue from your representative, but you ended up being part of a one-man show. That's exactly what happened to me when I attended a recent town hall on Monday, March 17th, 2025, with Republican Kevin Kiley, who represents California's 3rd Congressional District. It was more of a monologue than a meeting. It left all of us that were in attendance feeling sidelined, unheard, and dismissed on issues that really, really matter, especially right now in the times we're in. It's vital we talk about what happened to me, not just for this, because of this particular town hall, but how it affects anyone in any town hall across the United States. Hi, I'm Lorena, and I've done quite a few of these videos recently talking about the latest news events and then talking about the impacts those events would have on your everyday life, no matter where you stand politically. My mission has been to give everyone a way to process the dreaded news cycle because our current environment is just coughing up more and more stuff every day. So I want you to be empowered to fact check and to know that you can make a difference by having your voice heard. So I don't just talk about the news, I also practice what I preach. I spend a minimum of 1 hour a day either calling or emailing representatives about issues that are important to me. I spend a minimum of 2 to 3 hours fact-checking different news sources, making sure what I'm commenting on is factual information before I create a video, before I even post a video. I take this very, very seriously. And in an effort to be an example of what I'm suggesting that you do, because I'm always encouraging you to take action, I've recently attended a couple of virtual town halls. Today, I wanted to talk to you about the specific town hall that was conducted by Republican Kevin Kiley this past Monday. Remember that video I did recently urging everyone to ask their Democratic representatives to go to Republican town halls since the Republicans weren't showing up to represent their own constituents? If you don't remember that video, or if you don't know what I'm talking about, I'll put a link to it below this video. The Republicans were being asked by their own party to stay away from town halls because all of their constituents were protesting. They were getting a lot of boos as they were upset with a lot of what Donald Trump is doing, including Elon grabbing our data, dismantling the Social Security, threatening cuts to Medicaid, cutting Veterans Affairs, and so much more. And today, actually, they cut the Department of Education, and they're going to continue to do that. That was sad news, and I'm doing another video on that. But there's so much going on. So most town halls across the country are in an uproar, particularly in the Republican states. Well, I decided to attend this town hall because I was very interested in the fact that Kevin Kiley is a Republican, and he was willing to do it, even though this is a very difficult climate for Republicans in their town halls. So I was really interested in what he had to do, and I want to give him a fair take if what he was doing was good for his constituents. First, the town hall was virtual, and I was really excited at first, thinking, wow, that's pretty inclusive, allowing the opportunity to those who may not physically be able to get to a town hall, not to mention allowing for more attendees. If you do it over the phone, you don't have space to worry about, parking, the different seating arrangements. So, wow, this is a good start, right? Well, that was until the first words came out of his mouth. The session was more like a campaign pitch, focusing heavily on his personal achievements and party rhetoric. I'm not sure if you noticed, but the Republican Party, their representatives are very organized, and they have a huge marketing machine behind them that gives everyone, including Donald Trump, the cabinet members, and even Fox News, the same script to repeat each day. So every day they all have sort of like this script, and you'll notice they all use the same words, the same phrases, and they're all repeating the same things. And I've got to hand it to them. They are a fiercely coordinated force. And that's what Kevin masterfully displayed here on this phone call. As I said, it started off with how great he was and what he's accomplished. The important issues barely touched upon when he was talking. This was very disappointing. It was disheartening for those of us who were really looking for real solutions, real answers. We wanted a real person. So here's what went down. If you were on the call early, you were given an opportunity to press a button to get into a queue, so only a few of us could ask questions. And I wish I would have gotten into the queue, but I wasn't fast enough as I was multitasking at the time, and I missed that very short window. But that's okay. I still wanted to press along and hear what was said. So next came the opportunity for those that were in the queue to state their name and their question. So they were allowed a very little time to get their name and question out. As an example, someone asked for his view on the SAVE Act, and then they were muted right away. So they had to ask their question and they were muted. And then he went on as if he was in campaign mode, not directly answering the question and not giving the person a chance to have any follow-up questions or comments. And it was just so staged. It wasn't real. The whole thing was just very controlled. So next up, a question about our ongoing water crisis here in California. It was a short question, then they were muted, and then a campaign length response. So this was very self-serving. It was easy to see this was a cookie cutter approach, and I hate to say it, it was very effective in silencing dissonance or any kind of discord. So you know how they were being told not to go to the town halls because it was looking bad. The news media would be there, you'd hear the booing, you'd see the protesters, and it was uncomfortable. So by doing it this way, they controlled the show, and it was a show. So it was really infuriating to see how they were being manipulated on topics. And here are some of the topics. The big talk about tax cuts benefiting the middle class. That's what he proclaimed. It was so frustrating because it's far from the truth. Since we all know the math doesn't work out when you look at the budget proposal, we have always known the numbers were hidden either in Medicare, Medicaid, it's called Medi-Cal in California, and or Social Security. And now we actually have proof. Yale conducted an independent study, which they released on March 19th, 2025, confirming where the money the Republicans are looking for to fund the tax cuts for the rich. They did this study. It was independent. And before I say anything else, listen to that statement again. We're looking to cut essential funds in those programs I mentioned to gift tax cuts to the rich as if they need it. It's unbelievable that we're in this situation. It's unbelievable that I'm even saying this. So I'll put a link to that study, that Yale study, below the video if you want to check it out. Basically, because it's very long, but basically it said the SNAP program, which is the Supplemental Nutritional Assistance Program assisting poor families in affording food, it's going to be cut by $230 billion. That it's just unbelievable to me. Medicaid will be cut by $880 billion. This program covers a large portion of the healthcare costs for about 60% of elderly Americans. 60%. It's just shameful that we're doing this to the most needy. And there's going to be a lot more cuts to be determined to get to the budget is saying they need to find 1.5 trillion in cuts. So there's going to be other cuts as well. So Senator Kevin Kiley outright lied when he said these things would not be touched. And that's what's interesting, is that this is a coordinated lie that all the Republicans are repeating so that people don't get mad and protest. But we're smarter than that. Unfortunately, there was no way for anyone on this call to expose him for lying. Well, I say that until it seems that others in the queues started to notice, because this went on for about 45 minutes, started to hear what was happening. So when their turn came, they'd lead with, hey, what you just said to that last person was not true. But they were quickly diverted to ask their question and then quickly muted, silenced. So the setup for this town hall didn't allow for any real interactions. Questions were sidelines, concerns were ignored, effectively silencing any dissonance or demand for clarity. I'm doing this video to sound the alarm. This isn't just about one disappointing town hall meeting. It's a pattern that could repeat across the districts, affecting decisions that impact all of us. If we don't speak up, who will? This was so effective. I can imagine him repeating this to other Republicans to do the same thing. This is infuriating. So what can we do? Start conversations, share this message, share my video, call your representatives, demand that they truly represent your needs and values. If your representatives are Democrats, tell them to go into the Republican town halls. I don't care if the Republicans already held one, tell them to go hold another one. Everyone needs to be heard and represented. And the representatives, if they're Republican, and I still demand that you go and you write them and tell them that you want to town hall that you can go and meet face to face with them, or do a virtual meeting, but allow for Discord. So basically, I'm saying get the word out. Don't stop. I do this every day. I don't just wait one day to the next. I do this every day, including weekends. Of course, on weekends, I'm not calling them, but I'm sending letters. I am on a mission, and I hope you would like to be part of that as well. So as soon as I was off that call, I immediately fired off a letter to my 5 senators in California and others as well. And I also let Kevin Kiley know too. I was so disappointed. I really did write a seething letter saying you did not deceive anyone. And by the way, what else was really interesting? They said 25,000 people were on that call. I don't believe that for a minute. And if so, we only got maybe 10 questions answered. It was just so disappointing. And I'd really like to see proof of that. But if 25,000 people were on that call, there's probably a lot of angry people out there. So let's not let this slide. Engagement and accountability are key. For more insights and updates on how we can drive change together, don't forget to subscribe to my videos and join in on my discussions. Engage, in the comments below. I try to get back to everyone. Every voice matters. Let's make sure we're all heard. So be sure to grab your bonuses that I put below all my videos. I have links to some bonuses, free stuff. And remember to get the facts, stay strong, and take action. Ciao for now.